I call the order the Plainfield Charter Township Board meeting for April 13th, 2026. Supervisor Coleman is absent tonight. I need a motion for President Pro Tem for tonight's meeting.
I nominate Sue Morrow for President Pro Tem.
Support.
Kathy? Okay. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Nays? Okay, motion carried. Sue? Meeting's yours.
We'll begin with the invocation and then the Pledge of Allegiance led by Frank Pfaff.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we are just thankful. We're thankful because everything that we have, everything that we are is because of you, Lord. Our next breath is only because of you, Lord. And we just thank you for the sacrifice of your Son and the creation of this earth, Lord. We just pray as we go through the meeting tonight that we have your wisdom, Lord, because it is the only wisdom that there is, Lord. And we just pray for these things in Jesus' name, amen. Let's stand for the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do you want this hand?
We'll open our meeting this evening with public comments. And these are the rules that govern public comments. The comments will be limited to 3 minutes. There's a clock countdown on both screens, on one screen, for you to check your time. And when your time is up, I'll inform you. No individual may speak more than once. Public comments are not a question and answer period. Please be respectful of others. No abusive, obscene, or irrelevant comments will be allowed. If you wish to make a comment, please remain seated, raise your hand, and I will acknowledge you when it is your turn. Before making any comments, you need to state your name and address for the record. I open the floor for public comments. Go ahead. Come to the microphone, please.
Here?
Yes, please.
Okay, my name is Kim Fox. My address is 701 Booth Drive, Northeast. And I've lived here for 34 years now. So, it's my first meeting, and my comment is about the new water billing procedures. I found it quite disturbing. Okay, the water department is normally billed quarterly, which was fine. And now they're going to a monthly billing, and that's fine too. Only now they're planning on charging $1 a month if you want to receive a paper bill. And instead, they want you to go online, create an account, and personally, I'm so sick of usernames and passwords that I'm tired of it. And being a senior citizen, I don't see why I need to pay $1 a month to receive a paper bill. Now, if they want to just send me an email once a month, say, this is what's due and that's when it's due, that's fine. I couldn't get an answer when I called here to talk to someone at the township about this. The lady I talked to, I don't remember her name or anything, and I think she didn't really know, but what I got in the mail from the water department said, oh, if you want to go on to myplainfield.com, blah, 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 create an account. Well, like I say, if they're just going to notify me, oh, your bill's due, and then I have to log in each month to find out what it is and when it's due, I don't care to do that. If they, if I can log in once, and they'll send me an email, like I get with my Visa cards, they send me an email when the bill's due, X amount of dollars, no problem. So that's my beef this evening. And that's all I've got. And I think a lot of other people are concerned too, but they haven't spoken out about it.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else who'd like to be heard this evening? Susanna?
My name is Susanna Watts, and I live at 6333 Keys Street.
Will you get closer to the microphone, please?
sorry.
Thank you.
Do you want me to say my address again?
Yes,
Okay,
please.
6333 Keys Street, Northeast, and it moves. So my name's Susanna. I wanted to come and introduce myself as I'm running for state representative here in District 90, or the part of the township that's north of the river. I'm seeking the Republican nomination in the August primaries. A little bit about myself and my background professionally. I am a nurse anesthetist, also known as a CRNA or nurse anesthesiologist. I'm a U.S. Army Reserve veteran, a small business owner, and a homeschool mom to 3. Most of my life has been spent outside of politics as I raise a family, work in the operating room, and run a business. Like many of you, I care deeply about our local communities and about which direction our state is headed, which is why I'm here tonight. I'm not sure if many of you know, but our state is facing serious challenges around healthcare, especially when it comes to access, funding, and workforce shortages. We spend about 30% of our budget on healthcare, and yet we're still struggling. I've seen what happens firsthand when decisions are made by those who've never worked within the system. And I can say that policy looks very different when you've lived with the consequences. I am not here to pretend to be an expert on everything Plainfield Township. I don't think you want me to. As a state representative, my goal is to be able to create good relationships with local governments so that I can listen and support you, because you guys are the experts on the township. You know what this community needs most. I get this question a lot, and no, it was not on my career goal list to run for office. But I ended up realizing I had 2 choices. I could keep complaining, or I could step up and try to do something to help fix the crazy regulatory burdens and all the things that are creating such huge increase in costs for everyday people like you and I. So that's why I'm here. Thank you so much for everything that you do for our communities and for letting me introduce myself. Happy to talk with anyone afterwards.
Thank you. Anyone else? We'll close the floor for public comments. And the next subject is the consent agenda. If there's any discussion from board members regarding the consent agenda? A motion to approve the consent agenda would be in order.
I move to approve the agenda, including the consent agenda and accounts payable.
A support?
Support.
And then a roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Morrow,
Yes.
Mr. Pfaff,
Yes.
Mr. Remminga,
Yes.
Ms. Beatty,
Yes.
Mr. McKellar, yes.
Thank you. This evening, we have a presentation from our library representative. Lance, do you want to come up to the microphone?
Actually, we're going to send your representative to the board, Norma.
Wonderful, thank you.
I'll start the wave.
Norma, that microphone will come right down very easily.
Can you hear me
Thank
now? Is that okay? As Lance said, I am Norma Verheulen, and I'm your library trustee, and I'm the trustee for Plainfield, Comstock Park, Alpine Township, and Walker Libraries. A lot going on in Walker right now, but I recently read an article that stated lately fewer and fewer people are willing to run for local elected offices or to apply for public service boards. I was a little surprised to read that, but I understand because it's a huge sacrifice of time. And when you're elected and you're putting yourself out there and going on the ballot, it's a whole additional thing. So thank you. We appreciate you putting yourselves out there, and we also appreciate everything you do for the libraries. And you're very special to us. And speaking of special, we have two special library managers with Plainfield and Comstock Park. And one of them, who is not here tonight, Penny Zergable, is retiring in November. So just want to applaud all of what Penny has done, and she will really be missed. She's been very active in the local community, and one thing I wanted to mention is the Storehouse of Community Resources, if you're familiar with them, on Plainfield Avenue. I believe it was a Rotary Club that Penny's a member of, and Storehouse came to them and said, we have all of these pallets of donated Scholastic books. We want to clear out our warehouse to get some more room for food supplies. Can anybody help us get rid of these books and send them to a good cause? So Penny stepped up, reached out to all of her contacts, I was one of them, and we just kind of kept calling around, and these books have gone to Grand Rapids Public Schools, Kentwood, I know Grand Rapids Christian Schools, at Kent District Library for one, and there's many others. She cleared it out. I think pretty much they got more, but she kept at it. And these books are from Scholastic. They're very nice books. A lot of them are for high school level. So they will be used for prizes and incentives for kids to read and so on, and I think particularly a lot of summer programs. These books are going to be beneficiaries. So that's just one example of the many ways that our library managers reach out to the community and make a good job. And our other one is Tricia Dreck, and she is here today, and she is just special too, and I know she's going to share with you how the staff provides all of their services and the magic they do too. And now it's my privilege to introduce our director of the library, Lance Werner. Thank you.
I just want to take a moment and say thank you for your your service, and thank you for being our partner. And we truly value Plainfield Township. You guys have been fantastic to work with, and we have a lot of long friendships here, and we really enjoy working with Cameron. And thank you for everything. And yeah, I really appreciate it. And I have to also give Norma kind of a kudos. Norma has done a great job representing the township, and she's very astute, and she's on top of a lot of things. So appreciate Norma. And of course, Tricia is extraordinary as well, and I'm glad she's here tonight to represent the branches. But enough of that. I'm Lance Werner. I'm the director of the Kent District Library. Here, this will be my 15th year at KDL. I had more hair and was thinner when I started, but it's always good to be in Plainfield. 2025 was a good year for us. Our digital demand went up, and we had 1.9 million overdrive and Libby checkouts, which is a 17% increase over the year before. We're especially proud that the KDL Talking Book and Braille Center was honored as the 2025 Library of the Year by the National Library Service for the blind and blind and disabled. That's the second time we've won that honor. That's Shelley Rosine. We are the provider for Braille books in the region. It's a 4-county area that we serve, and we make sure that people that are experiencing sort of visual difficulties can get access to materials. And so anyway, I was really proud of our team on that one. We had over 20,000 young readers that completed our Summer Wonder summer reading program, helping to prevent summer learning loss across our region. And finally, one of the things that I'm most proud of is we provided nearly 29,000 meals to local children through our partnership with Feeding America last summer, and we're on track to provide well over 30,000 meals this summer. So we know that kids that have full stomachs are better positioned to interact with the services of the library, and we know that third grade reading is an issue in this state, and we want to get those kids involved with summer reading and get them excited about reading. Anyway, you guys, I'm not the big star of the show. The big star of the show is coming. That's Tricia Hetrick, and she's going to come up here, and she has a presentation for you. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Tricia Hetrick. Let me open up this computer. My co-manager Penny is usually the one here to give the presentation, but she's on a plane to the Netherlands. So send her well wishes as she travels. She's going over there to see the tulips, so that'll be pretty nice. But yeah, my name is Tricia Hetrick. I'm the regional manager too for Plainfield and Comstock Park. I've been with KDL for 16 years, and I've been the manager here for 5 years now. If I can get this to go up, might just have to make it bigger. Maybe not. A second. Penny made this one. I don't want to let her down.
Just put the little slideshow down here. Oh, where's your, there?
Yeah, it's not.
We do stuff like this in the library all the time.
Yeah, it's,
Uh-oh,
yeah.
I don't know. Just,
Oh, maybe because I'm not on the internet.
you in presentation mode?
I tried that one.
So everybody in the world who has technology experiences this, and this is our turn.
Okay, do you know which one I
Is it
go?
across the top? I see slideshow.
There you go.
I think it's because I'm not connected to the internet.
Did you get connected? Or?
Yeah, do you know which one? Yes. Well, this is what we do daily, isn't it?
Yeah. Feels like home.
Yeah. All right, there we go. Perfect. All right, so Penny put this together for me to share with you. It's just some quick visuals for you. She first wanted to shout out and thank Joe Ketchum. There he is. He is. You're our #1 guy. He takes care of us whenever we've got anything going on with our buildings. He and his team jump in really quickly. So thank you, Joe. Thank you to all the township guys who help us out every day. So this year, the biggest investment is going to be repairing our parking lot. And it's going to be safer and more accessible for our patrons with disabilities. So thank you, Joe, for spearheading that. We're really looking forward to that. Next, I want to show you checkouts, the number of checkouts we have. Right now, the Rockford branch is closed, and they have a little cabin, a community cabin that's open. And Plainfield is seeing a large number of their patrons coming in. Comstock Park is getting a lot too from Rockford, but also from Walker, who is also currently closed. And if you look at the large branch circulation up there, the yellow one at the top is Plainfield. We are the highest circulating branch in all of KDL. And that's not just when Rockford and Walker are closed, that's all the time. And down below, the small branch circulation, Comstock Park is a small branch, but we are also that top line on the graph. We have the most circulation of any small branch in KDL. So we are hopping. We are always circulating materials, going through books very quickly, getting them back out into the community. So we're really proud of our team for moving those so quickly. And this is, I don't know what she's trying to show there. She says the gaps are widening. So, yeah, you can, again, our Plainfield is the top one, and Comstock Park's the lower one. We are far above the others, and we're working really hard. Our visitors, this is separated by age groups. You can see we represent each age group. They're pretty much exactly the same. We are helping everybody. And each age group comes through the door looking for something else, and we're doing our best to meet them where they're at. And it's a really fulfilling job. This year, the two branches together have served 289,574 patrons, which is a huge number, and we've been having a lot of fun, especially in the summertime. Beyond the numbers, we've been building our community across the creek. We had a whole new park dedication that happened last summer. If you haven't been there, you should. It's really beautiful. We've got a new mural on the side of our building. If you've driven through Comstock Park, it really lights it up, especially in the winter time. If you look up at the top there, you can see our librarian, Susan. She's at one of the Northview schools doing an outreach with the kids there. And then we see one of our story times with Kathy. We've got our Let It Snow mug program where a family there is collecting all their mugs. We go to schools and do outreaches, and we've just started a program at Comstock Park where kids can come after school and play games together, and there they are having fun. Do you have any questions for me?
Thank you very much. Board members, anyone have any questions?
I don't have a question, just a comment. Thank you for all your work. I know Lance has received several awards, some of them national awards, because of the excellence that you do, so thank you.
Anyone else?
My kids are older now, but we used to have when the dogs would come into the library in Comstock Park. Do you still do that, or?
We don't do it at Comstock Park currently. We probably will again at some point, but we do it Plainfield. We actually did it last week during spring break. We had a little special pop-up because we usually only do it in the summertime.
Okay.
But yeah, we're still doing that.
All right.
Something that, a service you guys provide that very little people know about. I launched years ago a home building franchise, and I needed a meeting room. And they said, well, go to Plainfield Library. And I went, wow, this place was great. So what I used to do is I'd make the circle from Wyoming, Wyoming, of course, that's got movie screens on it. But I made the circuit through there, and I would meet my customers with blueprints right there in the library meeting room.
Yeah.
I think it charged me like $5 or something. It was really.
Oh, no, it's free.
Oh, maybe someone was taking money under the table.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't remember. Maybe, I don't know. But I'll tell you, it was pretty classy.
Yeah, we are so busy with that, with the number of people who are working from home now. They come to us as an office space, and those rooms get used very heavily.
And being double Dutch, that's a big thing.
Yes,
Anything
yep.
I can get for free, that's all good.
Yeah, always a bonus.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. McKellar?
I just want to support Kathy's mention about keeping the hard work that you guys do, keeping us number one on that list. I always like to see Plainfield and Comstock up at number one. So thank you for all your hard work.
You're welcome. It's worth it.
I too would agree with my cohorts up here. One of my favorite things at the library, and it doesn't sound like it should be my favorite thing, but is the Kaleidoscope magazine that comes out 4 times a year. It's outstanding, just outstanding. And so one night I decided, well, what the heck, I'm going to go find out what this, somebody was going to talk about shipwrecks in Lake Superior. And so I went down to Comstock Park Library. The room was not full. And afterward, I've told so many people about these programs that I hope next time it is full. Anyway, this lady was wonderful, PowerPoint, very knowledgeable and everything. And little did we know until the end of the program that she was the diver that gone in and
Oh,
found
wow.
some of those shipwrecks. It was an excellent program. Anyway, any other comments? Well, thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for coming. We really appreciate the work you do.
And come in and grab our Kaleidoscope anytime. It lists all of our programs, and
It
we'd
does.
love to see you in there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming too. Moving on to new business. We're going to provide the second reading and consider the proposed amendments to the current regulations for emergency access driveways. Cameron?
I'm going to turn this one over. We have our staff that came for more than just the warmth of the room, so I'm going to let Pete Elam and Fire Chief Sabota take this one away.
What you have before you tonight is a amendment, can you hear me better? Okay. Amendment to the emergency access driveway ordinance, which we did in 2011, and I was much thinner and had more hair that time too. But anyways, I digress. Kyle and myself have been working on this on and off for a year or two, just kind of putting this together while we're also doing the private road ordinance. Do want to clarify, the private road ordinance has no direct connection to this. It is similar in nature and to what they apply to. Some of the key things that were changed in here is we reduced the width from 14 feet to 12 feet. It's more consistent with what we find in the field, and this is practical matter. It's a little bit more favorable to our residents. We added review authority to the township engineer when we get some bridge crossings and some of these kind of unique situations where we could use a little help when we're trying to determine if it can carry the weight of a fire truck and that kind of thing. And that ties into another change, which was increasing or specifying the weight that these roads have to carry, and we put 75,000 tons on that for you. And then last, and probably the one that has been brought up the most, is a reduction from 10% grade to 7% grade. In practice, we have run across that from time to time. Steve may recall it too. Generally, when we have existing situations, we are very open to working with the property owner. This ordinance is primarily, in that section in particular, is primarily intended to deal with new homes to make sure these problems don't get forwarded in the long run. Kyle's also here to talk a little bit more about that interaction and the practicality of how we do things, but I do want to say, people come in, we talk to them about it. There's an administrative option for the fire chief, and then after that, if somebody were upset with the results of that chief's decision, then they could come to you. In the entire time that we've had this ordinance, I have not had one person even get close to doing that, and there's quite a few homes since then. So I'll hand it over to Kyle.
All right, so yeah, I've been doing road driveways for probably, 18 months now, I think. And we've had a lot of opportunities to get out and work with the community, looking at what they want to do, what they have planned to do. And I haven't had a single one that's really come back to the board that it's been an issue at all. In fact, we've had the opposite. We've been out there, we walked the properties with the homeowners, and they come up with different ideas. Our whole goal is to educate first, and before we have to get really to that enforcement component of it. So a lot of opportunities out there to do that. We do use the variances a little bit. We do know like the grade is obviously a big concern for a lot of our residents and community members. You know, we have an opportunity to work with that depending on where the home is actually built within the township. The township isn't flat. It's not like Arizona or anything like that. So we know that we do have to provide a little bit of variances in the grade, and the ordinance does allow for us to do that, and we have done that into the past, so we can plan to do that into the future as well. So that's what I've got.
Thank you.
That's all I have for the moment.
Are there any comments on this subject from people in the audience? We'll move on then to board members' comments. Mr. Pfaff?
I'm all set. It's pretty straightforward.
Mr. Remmingo?
No, I have no questions.
Ms. Beatty?
Yeah, in having a discussion with Cameron today, it was interesting to me that we are going to really grandfather those people in. We're only talking about new construction and when there's a change of 50% or more. So I think that's important for the community to know. So we're not going around and saying, you've got to change the grade of your driveway. So, thank you.
And Mr. McKellar?
I agree with the fire chief. When I did that when I was fire chief, it was very it was a good situation to be able to talk with the homeowners, get to know what they want to do. I call it bending the rules, finding the gray areas that still meet the code. I think this improvement of the ordinance will make that even easier for staff in the future.
Thank you. And I think all my concerns were addressed. A motion would be in order?
I move that the Township Board adopt and enact the ordinance to amend Chapter 18, Article 7, Section 18-152 of the Code of Ordinance of Plainfield Charter Township.
Support?
Support?
It's been moved and supported that the motion be considered. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mrs. Morrow,
Yes.
Mr. Pfaff,
Yes.
Mr. Remenga,
Yes.
Mr. McKellar, yes. Ms. Beatty?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you all for the work that went into this project, too. Moving on to the next subject, consider a resolution to designate the natural burial sections in the Plainfield Cemetery. Cameron?
Okay, this follows up on the work that we've done over the last few months. You went through the process to amend the ordinance for the cemetery to allow for it. Now this is the resolution. We talked about coming back with a resolution to designate areas for green burials. And so staff have gone out there, figured out what works. And so we do have a few areas that can be incorporated for green burial without causing problems for the rest of the cemetery or running into problems with adjacent plots that have already been sold. So that's a resolution in front of you to designate certain areas, and then staff can proceed with sale of green burial sites.
Thank you. Does anyone in the public have any comments on this subject? We'll move on to board members' comments. Mr. Remenga?
No, I'm all for it, and when Mr. Baldwin made his presentation, I was kind of excited because there's a lot of people that understand the high costs of funerals and burials and all this, and I think this would really help a lot of people out.
Thank you. Mr. McKellar?
I'm all set.
Mr. Pfaff?
I'm all set, thank you.
Ms. Beatty?
I'm good, thank you.
I too continue to have concerns about the size of the graves if we in fact have a rush on this new idea. I'm hoping that when I expressed my concerns, people said not to worry about it. It's maybe not as exciting or not as many people wanted to move into this kind of a burial. So I will go ahead and support the motion too. Or first I better get a motion, right? I have my questions answered. A motion would be in order.
I move to adopt a resolution to designate certain portions of the township cemetery as natural burial sections.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and supported, and the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Pfaff?
Yes.
Mr. Remenga?
Yes.
Mr. McKellar, yes. Ms. Beatty?
Yes.
Mrs. Morrow?
Yes,
Motion carried.
thank you. And going on to the next subject in our agenda, to consider an extension for the appeal from the FOIA number 2025-134 by 10 business days. Cameron?
Yeah, so we have with us tonight Township Attorney Andy Gordon, who's going to walk us through this. The board, I know you've been through this once already, but something that happened 6 months ago. I don't expect you to recall the steps and formalities, so appreciate our attorney joining us tonight to step us through this process.
Yes, good evening. As Cameron mentioned, again, just for the record, my name is Andy Gordon with Bloom Sluggett, here as Township's attorney. The items identified on the agenda as 8C, 8D, and 8E are all linked and kind of tie-barred together as for this one issue we've got. There was a FOIA request identified as FOIA request number 2025-134 that came in late last year, and it was an extensive request, involved a lot of documentation that Township had to review and provide, and was given over to the requester, Mr. James Dykema, towards the end of February. He did on, I believe it was March 16th, filed an appeal addressing certain aspects of what the Township's response was to that request. So under FOIA, an internal appeal like this can be filed with the Township Board, which is what the requester availed himself of in this particular instance. It then falls under Township policy for the board to make a determination on the merits of the appeal and determine how it's going to be disposed of. Now, under the FOIA statute itself, the phrase that's used in there is called the head of the public body. That head of the public body is the person or the board or whomever is in charge of actually ruling on and disposing of any FOIA appeals rendered. Now, the statute does not determine or state who that's supposed to be. So lots of times it's just each public body, what do your particular policies state as to where those FOIA appeals are directed? Plainfield Township's FOIA policies and procedures currently just state the Township Board is the deciding party for purposes of any such appeal. So we've come here today because the appeal we're looking at currently is very complex in terms of both the number of documents that have to be reviewed as part of the appeal and the issues that are identified and are part of the appeal. So there's a few things that we're recommending that the board consider on how we actually handle with this particular appeal. So the first is, under FOIA, one of the things that this board may do, if it determines that there are unusual circumstances with a particular FOIA appeal, it can invoke an additional 10 business day extension from the date where initially it's considered to be received by the public body. And so for instance, when it is the township board that is considered the head of the public body, any appeal is considered to be received when the next regular meeting occurs, which is tonight. So we are recommending first for this board to adopt and find that there are unusual circumstances given the complexity of this current appeal to invoke an additional 10 business day extension for the township to respond. So that's the first item of business that we're recommending here. The second, given the nature of the appeal, we figured that it would be advisable in this particular instance to delegate the matter, delegate the decision on the appeal to the township superintendent. Right now, your policies don't encapsulate that. So for the next item would be to consider amendments to the policies under section 8 and 9 to permit the township board to delegate the consideration of the appeal to the township superintendent. So that would be an option that this board could exercise in the event it wanted to do so. Would not be necessarily the general or the default rule in these instances. And then finally, along the lines of dealing with the present appeal would be another motion to delegate the determination on the appeal of FOIA number 2025-134 to the township superintendent on that currently amended policy that we're proposing. So the amendment would also take effect, would also be with immediate effect. So that's the scope. There's 3 separate motions that we have prepared. I don't know if those have been handed out at all, or I have copies of them if necessary. But that's what we're recommending the township board do. Happy to answer any questions about recommendations or otherwise about the situation.
Thank you, Andy. Are there any questions from anyone in the public on this issue? Moving to the board then, board discussion on the issue. Mr. McKellar?
Delegating the superintendent as the head, is this just for this case? Do we do it case by case, or are we delegating that authority to him
So
from now on?
what we are proposing to amend with the policy is just simply to permit the township board to delegate particular appeals to this township superintendent if it so desires on a case-by-case basis.
Okay.
So initially, any appeal would come to the township board if it still comes in under what we're proposing, and then it would be up to the board to delegate that appeal to the superintendent.
Ms. Beatty?
I don't have any further questions. I've already had discussion on it. Thank you.
Mr. Reminga?
Yes, I'm real sensitive to FOIA requests. I worked on Marlena Hackney's FOIA request for the state of Michigan during the unfortunate pandemic, and also Carl the Barber in Owasso, and they were reluctant to release the information, and then we reminded them, of course, that they were public servants and they needed transparency. That information is turned over to the Michigan House of Representatives because there's a committee there that's reviewing all that stuff. I'm one of these that I understand there's a lot of costs involved. We found out with a lot of these that, they wanted 12 grand or 30 grand or something to do all the work. So I don't have an answer for that, but the public has a trust in us, and I just want to fulfill that trust. I don't want to be someone that they think I'm hiding something, or anybody on the board is hiding, because I don't think they are.
Mr. Pfaff?
So here's what I'm hearing. So basically, we're looking for a 10-day extension with circumstances that are unusual. We want to move to delegate Cameron in this situation, this specific situation. Then moving forward, we can go on a case-by-case basis. Am I hearing that all correctly? Is that it?
In a nutshell, yes.
Okay, thanks.
My questions have been answered also. Any more discussion from the board? A motion would be in order.
Oh, it's a long one. I move that the Township Board of Trustees determine that unusual circumstances exist warranting extending the time frame to provide a written response to the appeal of FOIA request number 2025-134 by 10 business days. Specifically, the unusual circumstances supporting this extension are the number of records that have been reviewed, provided, and redacted, withheld in this manner, and the number of records implicated by this appeal. By no later than April 27th, 2026, Township staff will hereby directed to send out written notice in accordance with the Township Board's decision extending the time to respond to this appeal and stating the reasons cited by the Township Board for taking such action.
Is there a support?
Support? She did that all in one breath as well.
Oh, did she? Yeah, I think she'll have a chance to try another one, too. Mr. McKellar, would please call the roll?
Mr. McKellar, yes. Ms. Beatty?
Yes.
Mrs. Morrow?
Yes,
Mr. Pfaff?
Yes.
Mr. Emminga?
Yes.
thank you.
Carried.
And moving on to this next discussion. Consider this section 8-9 of the Plainfield Township FOIA policies, section 6, the summary and policies. And Cameron, can you speak on that?
Yeah, so really all of these go together, so unless there's additional discussion, it's really, as the attorney laid out, it's kind of all,
Right.
all three items are kind of one package, so.
Okay, I'll make it short and sweet. Is there any board member who has any comment on this? A motion would be in order.
I move that sections 8 and 9 of the Plainfield Charter Township FOIA policies and procedures and section 6 of the Plainfield Charter Township Public Summary of Township FOIA policies and procedures be amended so that the Township Board of Trustees, as the head of the public body under the Freedom of Information Act, may delegate the review and the decision on any FOIA appeal to the Township Superintendent. And I further move that the amendments to these policies and procedures have immediate effect.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Need a second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll second. Support.
And now, please call the roll.
Ms. Beatty?
Yes.
Mrs. Morrow?
Yes,
Mr. Pfaff?
Yes.
Mr. Emminga?
Yes.
Mr. McKellar, yes. Motion
and
carried.
one more part to this subject. Delegate the appeal to the Township Superintendent. Any comments, Cameron? Any comments from anyone in the audience? Board members' comments? A motion would be in order.
I move that the consideration of and decision on the appeal submitted by James Dykema regarding FOIA request number 2025-134 be delegated to the Township Superintendent, and that the Township Superintendent is directed to provide a written response rendering a decision on the appeal on behalf of the Township.
Is there a support?
Support.
And please call the roll.
Ms. Beatty?
Yes.
Mrs. Morrow?
Yes,
Mr. Pfaff?
Yes.
Mr. Emminga?
Yes.
Mr. McKellar, yes. Motion carried.
thank you.
Thank you, Andy, for walking us through that. We appreciate
Yes.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
And moving on to the next subject,
it. Okay, we are to item F,
F.
the resolution of intent for CIA. Okay, as we work through the process to revitalize and expand the Corridor Improvement Authority, this is the next step that Andy's colleague has laid out for us. So we have a resolution of intent. If it looks familiar, feels familiar, it's because we have done this before we stepped a few steps back and realized we need to do it a different way. So this is a resolution to expand the boundaries of our current CIA, which, if you're familiar with Plainfield Avenue, is from 4 Mile up to Airway. This expands it, what we had intended to do year and a half ago, expands it all the way up Plainfield Avenue to Northland Drive and including the commercial section of Northland Drive. So we're treating our key commercial corridor as one unit instead of just addressing part of the corridor. So this is the next step in that plan. So we need this resolution passed, and this resolution really spells out the additional, trying to get to the exhibit here. Yeah, all the parcels that will be involved. Everyone on this list will be getting a letter, and the letter includes every parcel on the list, so it's quite a letter. So I think there's 7-8 pages of maybe more of parcel addresses here. It just keeps going and going and going and going. This is why we hire attorneys, right? So that is what's in front of you. That's the next step tonight.
Thank you. Are there any comments from anyone, questions or comments from anyone in the audience? Okay, thank you. Board member comments, Mr. Remiga,
No, not at this time.
Mr. McKellar,
Nope, I'm good.
and Ms. Beatty,
I'm good.
and Mr. Pfaff.
I'm good, thank you.
And I am also. A motion would be in order.
I move to adopt the resolution of intent to amend the borders of the Plainfield Avenue Corridor Improvement Authority Development Area.
And to support,
Support?
and please call the roll.
Mr. Remiga,
Yes.
Mr. McKellar, yes. Ms. Beatty,
Yes.
Mrs. Morrow,
Yes,
Mr. Pfaff.
Yes.
Motion carries.
thank you. The next subject on our agenda is to consider a resolution to amend the I'm sorry, we just,
No, that's right. We're up to item G, discussion on the non-motorized.
I apologize. Thank you. We'll just turn to you right away then.
All right, so we've kind of talked about this a little bit too, and we're gonna talk about it tonight with a final motion for you in May, so there's no action on it tonight. Joe Ketchum joined us not just to be KDL's star of the presentation, and Bill Fisher joined us not just to sit in the hottest part of the room where there's no breeze. They joined us to talk about their work with the Parks and Rec Committee on this recommendation. We do have members of the Parks and Rec Committee, Dennis, thanks for joining us tonight, that have put a lot of work into bringing this proposal together. Tonight is discussion to make sure everyone understands what has been worked on and what's been proposed, and then in May we can finalize this. So I'll hand it over to the team over there.
You stole our thunder.
Sorry.
Well, at least we finally have something exciting to talk about tonight. Just a little background. I'm sure y'all read the memo, so I'll be brief with what it says in there. But back in 2016, the Township Board authorized the request for a trails and recreational areas millage to be put on the ballot. And it passed by 53%, not much. But here we are 10 years later, and over that 10 years, that trails millage has brought in $6.4 million that we've been able to complete construction of about 9 miles of trails. Many of you had a lot to do with that over time. There's been different boards over this whole 10 years, but if you look at, we started out with the Jupiter Trail, the north section from Plainfield Avenue down to West River. Then we did the south section, the Rockford Trail, Jericho Trail, and we're doing the South Rogue River Trail right now. We also did the Airway Street Pathway. That was not paid for with trails millage funds, it was a sidewalk fund, but the rest of them with this piggy bank of stuff we were able to get that the voters want us to do and put together this trail system that connects to the White Pine Trail, schools, et cetera. And I think you should be very proud of how far we've come and be able to utilize the funds that the public want us to utilize for trails. So that said, the trail millage was for 10 years and it has expired. We collected our last levy with this past tax bill, and so we're back to square one with this whole thing. So the Parks and Rec Committee met. That's where this whole thing starts. We met a couple times, and our most recent meeting we had a couple weeks ago, we talked about should the township ask for a renewal plus getting it back to the 0.5, because remember there's the Headley rollback? Or should we ask for even a greater millage or just a straight renewal? And as you can see in the memo that we talk about, we discussed, it's the straight renewal. So that's what the committee is going to recommend to you. So tonight, we just, as Cameron said, want to get an idea, a feel for where you're at with this and see if there's anything we should address before the May meeting. When you get to the May meeting, what you're going to be considering is a resolution that will have the proposed ballot language in it. So I provided you in the packet with a draft of the ballot language. We're still working on that. That's always a tough thing to write perfectly so people understand it. It's a little bit of a challenge. But hopefully people understand and recognize where we've gone, where we're going, what it's going to be used for, and we're not asking for an increase of what we already have. So that will be before you next month. And all you're deciding on with that resolution is whether or not to ask the voters if they want to renew the trails millage in August primary. That's what we're shooting for. That said, we have a tight window. We weren't able to have you do the resolution or consider it tonight because we did not have the Headley rollback number. We just got it today, and we need that number to plug in there. You can't just say, okay, we approve this resolution, subject to whatever the Headley rollback is. But the county equalization department just provided to us today, so we weren't able to get it ready for tonight. That said, if you approve it next May 11th, the resolution has to be signed by Mr. McKellar, turned into the clerk here. Because it's just a township-wide millage, it's not multi-jurisdictional, the township is the receiving agent for this, then the clerk has 48 hours to get it to the county clerk to review the language to get it on the May 11th, or the August ballot, the primary. So that's the process. I know it's a tight timeline, and that's why we want to introduce it to you tonight to see if there's any issues you wanted to address.
Thank you. Well, we can certainly say thank you to your committee and not only all the efforts that they put forward to bring the first proposal to our attention and then to see it be enacted with so much excitement and enthusiasm. Mr. Pfaff, do you have any comments on the? Oh, I'm sorry. They have to go first. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to comment on this subject? Oh, I apologize. Go ahead, Dennis. Dennis, you're going to go first.
My name is Dennis Cole, 5901 Coit. I'm a former township engineer, but also a member of the Parks and Recreation Committee. And I just wanted to let you know that the committee had quite a bit of discussion, and we didn't all agree on everything. But I think in the end, there was a great deal of enthusiasm to push this forward for your consideration. And I think the better we can make the language easier for the voters to understand is probably key. So that's certainly something that Bill, I know, and his team are working on. And so I just wanted to thank you for your consideration of this. The committee has been doing a lot of great work, and we hope that can continue. And I also want to give a shout out to both Bill and Joe for their excellent leadership on the committee as well. We really appreciate all that they do and make our meetings very smooth. So thank you for your support.
Thank you, Dennis. Is your first name Frank? Wayne. Wayne. I should have asked what your first name was, but I thought I should know it too. Thank you, Wayne. Do you have some comments for us? Okay.
It's pretty amazing. Wayne Gallant, 4160 Miramar. It's pretty amazing I get to work with Joe and Bill and these guys. But several months ago, there was a lot of people expressing concerns of the trail up on Grand River. I'm just hoping that there was some consideration, because when we go to vote on money, funding for this, consideration for all those people. I see all the trails, I'm cleaning them up occasionally. But I just want to make sure that that issue was looked at for their sake. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else with comments? Now, board members' comments. Mr. Pfaff.
Yeah, I looked at it different directions, and Cameron and I talked on it. And I don't know what you want our thoughts, right? What we think. So I just think a straight renewal would be the easiest way with, times are tight for a lot of people right now. And I think it's the easiest way to get it approved.
Okay, Kathy?
Yeah, I'm fortunate enough to sit in on the committee and watch their hard work, and they're very passionate about their trails and parks. And so I appreciate that very much. They looked at it up, down, and sideways, and should it be a renewal, should it be an increase? And so I think it was the right decision, and I am absolutely behind it and hoping that we will get it passed and continue building those trails. To pass it.
Kathy, it was a renewal that you're
Yes. the
commenting on.
renewal.
Okay,
Just
thank
a
you.
renewal.
Steve?
I enjoy the trails all the time. I do a lot of biking and dog walking and everything on the trails. And it's nice to get more and more areas to go. I just need a little explanation because I don't understand the Headley Act very well. If we do a straight renewal, the renewal will be of what the millage rate is set as at today? Or to the 4 point?
Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, so today, it's at 0.4648, or the last tax levy. The information we found out from the county today, the new stuff is it's going to be 0.4596. So we start at 0.5. So based on the current taxable value that assessor has, if this gets renewed, the first year it'll generate about $980,000, and that'll be in the ballot language as well. If we were to ask for the renewal plus restoring it to 0.5, it doesn't seem like it's not that much, but it's probably about $70,000 over, we estimate, could be off, but pretty close, less than $100,000 over the life of the 10 years, if it stays at what it's going to be with the rollback, and then, let's say it keeps rolling back, depends on the taxable value. But we thought it's more of a cost, it's gonna be more risky to ask for an increase, because we have to word it. We're asking for, in the ballot language, just a straight renewal. If we were asked to restore it, it'd be renewal plus an increase, those words just didn't match. So yes, if that helps you understand, it's rolling back a little bit, but it's still getting significant amount of funds for the trails and recreational areas.
So over the last 10 years, we've went from 0.5 down to, so
0.468, 0.4648.
So we've got 0.68, it'll continue to go down over the next 10 years still, right?
Well, yeah, because the current for 2026 is 0.4596.
Okay.
So it went down even a little bit more.
So you're looking at, it's only, not only, but it's a $70,000 difference. For
Total
renewal
guesstimate.
to reestablishing.
Yeah, it's not significant in the big pictures and.
Okay. No, I support it. I support a renewal.
Mr. Remington?
No, I'm all for the trail. I think it's great to get people off their couch and get them moving, especially the older you get. It's always a good thing. But no, I'm all for it. I think it's great.
And I too just really appreciate the work of the committee, but there's so much more that goes on behind the whole project of the trails. And I hope that a renewal would be, I think that would be a good way to send it to the public. So I think it sounds like you've got some board members saying, think about renewal. Okay?
With that feedback, probably the last piece, now that we have the numbers, is making sure that we have the right language. And so the committee has spent a considerable amount of time trying to put together language that makes sense to the general public, right? We love our attorneys for what they do, but it doesn't mean we can always understand what they write. So that there's some language we have to keep in there, but trying to just make it as common speak as possible so people understand what they're voting on.
Is it coincidental that Andy left?
I would have said that to his face.
Any more discussion from the board? Then superintendent's comments.
Okay. Couple of items that I want to bring to your attention. If you haven't noticed already, I'm not sure what rock you've been under, but construction has started everywhere around the township, everywhere. So apologies, but it's not all us. So there are projects that are our projects that are drain commission projects that are road commission, projects that are MDOT, everywhere, because everyone was waiting for that start of the season. And so when the starter's gun went off last week, everyone was to it. So if it's up on 10 Mile and Pine Island, a roundabout the road commission's putting in, down to the trail that we're putting in on Rogue River, and today went by it and saw that they unearthed a lot of the area for the trail proceeding from the Rogue River west over to basically here. Doing a lot of that work today. So we should see asphalt there very soon, probably, I would assume this week. We'll have asphalt down on that section, I would think. Bridges would be the last pieces to go. Bill, is that accurate?
Actually, the bridge span, or the prefab that is, I think it's coming the last week of this month or first week of May. So wherever, then meanwhile, they're gonna be working, restoring the east end, where they have it, the trail end, they gotta put all the landscaping in. But wherever they're at with paving, they're gonna, obviously, when the bridge comes, they're gonna go install that. So that's kind of hit or miss towards the end of April, early May.
And none of the work that's going on now will interfere with the LPGA, is that right? We're
Correct, and there's also the tunnel that's gonna go underneath
Yes.
Northland.
Yes.
Just real quick on that, the county, that's Kent County Parks and Rec, they're gonna do all the work, probably starting in May, all the work on the east side prior to the LPGA event, and then when they're done, they're gonna come over and start on the west side. And we've been working with the LPGA folks and all the logistics and permits, and we've been working on that whole coordination of timing, so. And then the tunnel itself will be installed sometime in July or probably maybe August. Well, Krista will have that in our newsletters to keep everyone informed. They're gonna have to do a total closure of Northland for 1 week, so, yeah, stay tuned.
Well, thank you for your information. Any more?
Yeah, so
What?
last item I want to
Okay.
share with you, board, you have a copy of the water study to review. We will be going over that at our next meeting, which is on April 27. So we'll meet in here for a workshop with our engineers where they'll unveil the study, talk about the recommendations. We're at the point where all the good options were examined and didn't turn out to be good options. So all the bad options were thrown back on the table, including using the effluent from the North Kent Sewer Authority.
Oh, my.
That was quickly ruled out, don't worry. So that is not one of the. That's off the table. It was on the table for maybe half a second and pushed right back off. So they literally looked at all potential options, over 20 different alternatives of how to get source water. So anything from using our sewer water to new wells to, maybe connecting for a regional system. So we'll be unveiling that next meeting. So 6 o'clock, we'll meet back in here.
Sounds good, thank you. Board member comments? Frank? Kathy?
I think I'm good, thank you. Good meeting.
Thank you. Bob
Yes, ma'am, okay.
and Steve?
Me and Tina, the deputy clerk, attended an educational day up in Mount Pleasant. It was very, very good. It was, the subject were communications for the clerk's office and also branding, which kind of falls into our philosophy here of branding. Also, we had a good presentation by the State of Michigan's Board of Elections, which was a very good debate, as Sue probably knows. Also a legislative update with all the new bills, and it's some of the stuff that's coming up that they want to get in place by the gubernatorial election is, I think they're grasping at straws, but we'll see. Another thing I'd like to talk about a little bit, and I was talking to Mr. Remminga before we came in here, and he made a comment about, we ran into someone, like, how do you know me? And I go, it's like they search us on social media, they look at, you know, what we're doing, they see us out in the public. And I think that it's pretty important that we remember that, okay, that, yeah, they search us, they look for us, but we have to remember, and this was drove into me when I was the fire chief, that I'm not just a fire chief 8 to 5, 5 days a week. I'm the fire chief 24/7. And anything that I did reflected the fire department. And I believe personally, I'm not a clerk just 1 or 2 days a month from 6 to 8, 6 to 8 o'clock at night. I'm the clerk 24/7. So when I go out and they find, we need to make sure that we're representing our positions, our board, our township in that, in the way that we took the oath with everything on the wall over there, integrity, professionalism, my eyes ain't that good. Transparency, I can see that, collaboration, that we're representing the township and the people that put us in this position respectfully, with open arms, trying to answer the questions they have, and just remember that that's who we are, and we represent the whole group, not just ourselves, so.
Thank you.
Yep. Well,
Very thoughtful.
Bob triggered it. Yep.
Well, on the same subject, many years ago, someone told me that I should be wearing a name tag, and I thought, oh no, everybody would know who I was. And lo and behold, it's actually worked, I think, quite well, not only for the people who ask me questions, but I have become not afraid of people saying, oh, you're on the board? I'm on the board, but I don't have the answers to all the questions, and that's my second sentence. I can help people find the person who can answer their questions or be of assistance, but I never give out anything that's carved in concrete, for sure. I always suggest that they go to the person who's responsible for it. We have lots of very, very responsible employees at Plainfield Township, and I enjoy every minute of serving in the public very much. Any other comments? Kathy?
I was gonna say, I'm sorry. I don't know. The question was, how come I can't get into Anna's house when I'm driving south? I said, well, I don't have an answer. But I would say, have you ever been to a township meeting? Well, no. I said, well, there's your problem. I said, we as a body cannot operate in a vacuum. If I don't know something and there's somebody in the audience that has an expertise in something, like the library people, oh, really, that's cool, I didn't know that before. Sometimes we don't understand certain subjects because there's not enough input from the public. And so I encourage everybody, when I'm out in public, if they got a complaint because they can't get into Anna's house, I said, well, then you need to come to a township meeting. You need to serve on a committee, you need to get involved. I said, this is a grassroots operation and you need to be involved in the grassroots. Forget about what's going on in DC, work on your local, and you'll be a lot happier and see a lot more results.
Kathy, your comments?
Good, thank you.
And Frank?
Sorry, I'm good.
I may have given you 2 turns.
That's all right.
I think we've come to the end of our agenda, and the meeting's adjourned.